Vinnie Brand is here once again because he can't keep his name out of the headlines.
Vinnie, I texted yesterday. Maybe Vinnie would want to call in today. But Vinnie, legitimately on the phone, it's your hearing at times is a little dicey. So, yeah, it's better you come.
Yeah, when I walked up to the security desk, the lady's like, "You again."
Yeah.
This pretender, where is he coming from?
Well, I like that. You're figuring out ways to continuously get back in here. You know, whether it means getting comics to leave the club, whatever you have to do to stay in the headlines and keep us talking.
Yeah, I don't want to be in the headlines the way this happened.
No?
No.
Was this a Monday night show Pete was doing?
Yeah, it was a Monday night show.
Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson, who listen, I'm going to say it right up front, I love Pete Davidson. I don't want to beef with Pete Davidson.
Right.
And I've never disrespected that guy, ever.
I heard you did once on Monday.
That is the word.
Yeah.
Well, that's the part that pisses me off, is that, first of all, they asked me to go up on stage.
Who's they?
His security team.
Okay. Did you talk to Pete beforehand? Did he ask you anything?
I talked to Pete in the green room for 2 minutes. And Pete's green room is not a green room I'm going to hang out at.
Sure.
Okay. So I went in. It was all good. Hugged. He goes, "Hey, the club's beautiful." I said, "Pete, thank you very much for coming in." He said, "Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, good. I asked him if he had seen the showroom yet, which he had not. And I go, "Listen, you're going to love it in there." And I said to Pete, "Who do you want me to bring up first?" He had, great comics with him. He said, "Bring up Derek Gaines first." I said, "Great." I said, "Okay."
Who else was with him? Derek, Ricky?
It was Derek Gaines, Ricky.
Ricky Velez, funny too,
and,
yeah.
And the guy from SNL, his name I'm blanking on.
Colin Quinn. Norm McDonald.
No, he's on now.
Oh, my God.
I'll get his name in a minute. It doesn't
Robert
matter.
Downey Jr.?
It doesn't matter. The guy never hit stage.
Jim Brewer.
No,
sorry.
I think it may have been...
Tina Fey.
No, it was John Belushi. The point is...
Amy Poehler? Who was it? I want to know.
Chris Red.
Okay.
Chris Red.
Chris Red.
Okay. All right. That's who it was.
And I apologize,
So
Chris.
it's Ricky Velez, it's Chris Red, and it's
Derek Gaines.
Derek Gaines.
Funny comic.
And they're there. Pete Davidson brings them.
Yeah, he brought those guys that night. And I literally said, "Who am I bringing up first?" They said, "Derek Gaines." And then I left the green room. I said hi to everybody. I said, "You guys have a great time tonight." They're all eating, all having fun. I walk outside. That's it. Now, during the day, I had talked to his security team. And his chief of security wasn't going to be there that night. He had another guy doing the job.
Okay. How big is the security team?
That night, he had 2 guys with him.
Okay.
All right. And we had 3 guys. We hired 3 guys to make sure this thing ran right.
Right. No phones.
No phones. And they were very specific. What they wanted was more than just the standard no phone policy. They wanted no phones on the table, no phones in hands. Phones couldn't be visible.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because they said, yeah, it is fair. They said, listen, people will try and record the audio.
Sure.
And we don't want that.
Sure, that makes sense.
Right. So we had signs everywhere, signs they'd asked us to put up. And I said to Pete, "I'm going to go up on stage, I'm going to lay down the law and get your guy on right away." He goes, "Great." I leave the green room. I'm out front. During the day, the security guy said, "Listen, please tell everybody no calling out. And if they call out, Pete will handle that as a comic himself. But if they yell out Ariana Grande or Kate Beckinsale, they're going to be removed from the club immediately." So I said, okay, that makes sense. Makes total sense.
So what he's saying is he's asking you, just because somebody yells out, don't necessarily remove them immediately, but if they yell that out, immediately.
Immediate, exactly.
Is it possible you misinterpreted that as wanting it announced and the security guy was just saying that to you, like, look, if this happens?
During the day, that conversation I had, I could have potentially.
Yeah.
But the way this played out is very specific.
Okay.
Which is what pissed me off. So right before I'm going to go on stage, and I'm talking, they're really getting ready to intro me. The security guy's with me. He came out and he said, "You're bringing up Derek." I said, "What do you want for credits?" And he said, "Do the last OG." And the reason it's important is because the guy said, "Say the last OG." I was kidding around. I go, "Oh, I can't do that. Tracy gets mad when I do that." And the guy went to run back and ask Derek something else. And I said, no, I'm only kidding you. Of course I'm going to do those credits. Mm-hmm. And then I said to him, okay, I'm going to tell them no cell phones. You can't have a phone on the table, can't have it in your hand. I'm going to tell them no calling out. And I'm going to specifically say no yelling out Ariana Grande or Kate Beckinsale, or you will be removed immediately. It's a one and done situation. And that dude looked at me and said, yes, perfect. Say that exactly. Okay, and I went up on stage. I was on stage for 4 minutes and 50 seconds. My security tape shows it. It takes 4 minutes to do these announcements because I'm telling people, listen, if you bring your cell phone out and put it on the table, we're going to ask you to leave the room. They also told me during the day that if someone gets a phone call, just ask them to please leave the room and go to our lobby and make the call. So it's a very specific set of announcements.
Right.
I made no joke.
By the way, this is what happens when too many people get involved. The guy and Pete and him just don't talk. It's so much more complicated.
It is. It really is.
But when you're doing announcements, you got to do them in a way that's not so like disciplinarian, right? Are you doing them in a jovial way?
I did these announcements with almost no inflection because it's 9:45 on a Monday night. It's already late.
This was the second show?
I want to get it's only one show. So I am very aware that on a Monday night, an audience can get tired. So I want to move it along.
I see.
Okay. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 30 years. All right. I don't need to go on. Pete tried to say I went up and did time and he asked me not to. Listen, Pete, I love you. You call me. But that didn't happen. And if Pete had not gone on Instagram, none of this would have been known. Because I wouldn't have gone public with this, and I did my job so good. There's no videotape of me because the first thing I did.
I was looking everywhere for it.
There wasn't there.
There's no video of you
Sam,
at the Stress Factory doing this.
Because I did my job right.
Yeah.
And I do my job very well. And comedians, if Pete didn't say I disrespected him, if Pete just said, hey, something went wrong, I wouldn't have done anything. Pete called me out by name. Listen, my reputation in this business is all I have. I don't have any credits. This is my biggest credit right now.
Let me play. I actually have the audio just to bring people up to speed. So obviously Pete Davidson is he's supposed to get on stage at the Stress Factory.
Well, hold on. This one before that. But you say you make this announcement. How do you say? Don't call out. Are you fucking? Does it sound like you're making fun of it? Okay, or you're just saying you'll be asked to leave immediately.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I'm really self-aware. So I said to my manager, Mark, who's been with me for 20 years, I said, Mark, tell me, if I fucked up, if I did it in a joking way, please tell me, because I need to know that. And Mark goes, Vinnie, you didn't do anything they didn't ask you to do. Because you did it exactly the way that I told you.
So that happens, how do you find out he's leaving? Because you're on stage.
Yeah.
And then what did you bring on Derek?
I brought on Derek. Derek went up. When I walked off, the security guys, you've been to the room. I stepped off stage through that little door.
Yeah.
The green room's to the left. I didn't go to the green room. I said to the security guy, just cocky. I said, that's how you control a crowd. And I walked into the lobby, and the guy said to me, yeah, good job. Okay, that's
so he didn't say.
No.
Okay.
No. Now, listen, I want to say this emphatically. I don't want any. I would love it if Pete Davidson reached out and said, hey, Vinny, let's put this behind us. I would shut up in real time. Okay.
Please let Pete do that.
What was there?
That's why I don't like coming on this show. So, in any event, I'm out front now talking. And then
in hindsight, though, but, as long as you've been doing this, isn't there any part of you that goes like, well, it's one thing to say don't yell out. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's something you should say. But if I say don't yell out and specifically don't say these two things, when you say don't say these two things, isn't that kind of like dangling the carrot in front of people, going like, hey, this is the really bad stuff?
Okay, first of all, I can see why you're saying that, right? But I'm talking to the guy 30 seconds before I'm walking on stage. Mm-hmm. If that guy said to me, no, just say don't yell out, none of this happens. And there have been times, there's certain comics I've worked with where they want a two-man show and I know they're a certain way. I just say, you know what? I'm not even going to do the announcements. If someone makes a phone call, he'll have to deal with that. Okay? I like Pete and respect Pete, and I wanted that night to be perfect. This is a brand new club, 9 years in the making. A lot of my wife's and I's time, money, and energy. 300 people coming out on Monday night. You think even a little bit of me said, hey, let me fuck this up?
So, yeah, okay. Right. I don't think you were going out of your way to fuck with him. No, that's the last thing you're going to do when you have, a guy as hot as Pete, like everyone's talking about Pete Davidson, and he's funny, and having your club, all of a sudden you're going to fuck with him on purpose. It
doesn't make sense.
Oh, my God. And listen, this is the thing. If you go through anything I've ever done, like, what's her face, Kathy Griffin, anything with Louis, I'm never on stage dishing on comics. Mm-hmm. Never. Okay? I dish on myself and my family. I don't really do that, ever. So to say I'm disrespecting comedians, it was very, very troubling to me.
So you walk off, you go out into the lobby. Derek Gaines goes on. When do you find out there's a problem?
It's about 5 minutes or 6 minutes. Derek's on stage, and he's doing very well. Derek's a funny guy.
Yes, he is.
And the night's going to be amazing because they're not going to yell out. And just to finish that point, Sam, the odds of someone yelling out Ariana Grande during that show, if I don't make the announcement, are probably 100%. It's Monday night. They're drinking. There's always a jackass somewhere with these big celebrities that wants to do it.
So when you up front say this isn't a joke, we don't want to hear that.
I said, if you yell out these two things specifically, you will be removed from the club. It's a one and done situation.
Although personally, I think the better announcement, and maybe this is the security guy, if he's not his everyday guy, sometimes security guys, they're like ex-cops. They're like very fact-oriented, official fucking guys. Just tell him this, tell him that. But if you say if you heckle once, you're out, that would have covered that. And then anything they yelled, you could have either thrown them out or not.
Oh, yeah. And in hindsight, I wish I didn't even go on stage. In hindsight, I said, hey, you know what? If someone yells out, that person will get thrown out. But in fairness to the people that came out, I think you should tell them, hey, listen, this is the ground rules. If you do this, you're going out of the room.
Right. So they're not shocked when I thought we were all having a good time.
You know what? If they don't know that they can't yell out during a show, then they deserve to be shocked on the way home. I think it's fair to make one announcement. You yell out. It's a one and done policy. You're fucking gone. But I don't think you should have to tell them specifically because I think as adults, if they don't know that, that's a great lesson to learn. You fucking yelled out. It's almost like if you're talking during a movie and you got thrown out, you're like, well, no, you didn't tell me I couldn't be on my phone.
The one universal rule of comedy clubs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but you know what? Let's face facts. Pete is a celebrity. He's a comic, but he's at another level. And his relationships have been highly publicized.
Yes.
Okay, so listen, it made London news today. I've got a friend of mine in London that sends me a text message. Hey, they're beating you up in the London press. I'm like, oh my God, now I've got credits in London too.
Yes,
Listen,
no, it was London, Connecticut.
Yeah,
New London.
But so I mean, you're talking about a guy as a celebrity, and when you get to that level of celebrity, you wouldn't understand this, Jim.
No, I would not. Of course not. I work rooms like the Stress Factory.
I mean, that's when people take that moment, okay? That's why.
And they're not necessarily comedy fans either. Like, they're not used to the rules of, they are idiots when it comes to seeing stand-up comedy because they don't see stand-up comedy. They're going to see a celebrity.
They are. And listen, if I wasn't so emotionally involved in making the club great and making comedians' experience great, if Pete had not gone on Instagram, you would never have heard this story.
So Derek is on stage.
Derek's on stage.
For 5 minutes.
Right. And that same security guy comes up and says, hey, man, he's leaving. You need, I just want you to know there's no show. And they're packing up all the merch. And I go, what are you talking about? And he goes, he's upset that you said Ariana Grande. And I said to him, because it was the same guy, I said, dude, you told me to say that. And he goes, man, you better go talk to Pete.
He's like, I'm out of this right now.
No, he didn't. There were two security guys there.
Uh-huh.
There was the guy that told me that, and there was a heavier guy, nice guy.
Yeah.
And they both heard me say it. They both heard me say, this is the announcement. So now I go out in the alleyway. Pete's getting in the car. I said, Pete, I go, what's going on? He goes, man, you humiliated me. I go, Pete, I would never disrespect you. I love you. I've known you for a long time. I didn't, that guy told me to say exactly what I said. And now the guy goes, who inside did not say to me, hey, Vinnie, I didn't say that, says, oh, I didn't say that. I go, dude, you did. It was 4 minutes ago you said that. And listen, I get it. The guy's trying to keep his gig.
Yeah, it's tough when all of a sudden when Pete's right there, if you said that to the club owner and the fucking celebrity is pissed, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, which one am I going to side with here?
What am I going to do?
Oh, yeah, and what he did is he goes, you fucking calling me a liar? And he stepped toward me. I said, dude, don't hit me. Now, the other guy was there. I said,
oh, you really took a stance.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now.
That's what I would have done, too.
Don't hit me.
Sir, don't hit me.
Not for anything, but I'm out there with Pete's guys. I don't have a lot of my guys there. Okay?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them. And the other security guys there, I said, guy, you can't let this go down this way. Tell them what happened. And he goes, I don't want to get involved. Okay. Which is a really, really, in my opinion, that's a telling thing to say. I don't want to get involved says, hey, I can't. I'm not going to say it didn't happen because I know it did.
Sure.
And I'm not going to corroborate it because I'm not going to get in trouble. And I begged Pete. There now, someone said in one of these news stories that I was out there screaming and cursing and getting violent with Pete. Yeah, that's what everybody would do. You would go out and get violent and try and scare him back on stage. Okay? None of it makes sense. So Pete's in the car. I said, Pete, please don't do this. It's a brand new club. We've been friends forever. I love you. I would never, ever hurt you. And he just looked at me. I said, there's 300 of your fans in there. And I said to the driver, I said to Pete, if this guy tells you the truth, will you go do the show? And Pete goes, yeah. So again, evidence that Pete's a pretty good guy. And I said, guy, tell him. He wouldn't say a word. He didn't say yes, no. He's lost his bluster. He's not going to hit me anymore. And Pete just goes, I hope you learned your lesson. And he drove away. And I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love Pete. Yeah. I have a lot of respect for Pete. I wish him well. I really wish he would reach out for me because I
texted to see if he'll call. I don't even know if he got the if he's up at this hour.
Listen, there are people on my Facebook saying, Pete's a dick and blah 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 blah. I was there. Pete's an asshole. Listen, don't do that either. Okay, there are people saying. I had one girl on my Instagram going, "You were unprofessional. You disrespected Pete." I wrote back, "Hey, what's your ticket name? Let me look you up." Then I look her up. She lives in California. Okay, the girl's not there. So that's the thing now. It takes on this other life where all the trolls come out.
And people who just don't know what happened and they just react to a story.
Yeah, they just want to take
they read a headline.
Yeah.
They do. And
well, this is what Pete said.
Oh, I guess his Instagram, yeah.
He recorded this Instagram in the car after you had that conversation.
So hold on, Derek is on stage while all this is happening.
Well, this Instagram, Derek went in the car with him. So
the stage is empty?
Oh, yeah, they all left.
Wait, how did everybody find out that it was done?
So I guess the guys on the group, I don't know how Derek got notified on stage because when they came and got me, I went out and talked in the alleyway. Derek was already off stage and they're all getting in the car. So they just literally...
So they're off stage. Weren't you going to... Who's bringing the next guy on?
I wasn't going back on. Derek was supposed to bring on... Ricky Velez, and Ricky was going to bring on Chris Red.
Tag
team, right. So they're going to tag team the show. So I'm done. I'm 5 minutes on stage. I'm done for the night. Now my whole job is going to be make sure the rest of this night goes well, make sure no one violates the policy. That's my whole night.
Yes, count the money.
Jim, the funniest thing about this, it's a door deal, and it's not favorable to me. Okay?
I understand.
I'm not going to count a lot of money.
Yeah, of course.
And that's the other thing. You're hurting a brand new club. You still have a career. You're on Saturday Night Live. You're a big star. Okay? This is my livelihood. And my relationship with comedians is important.
Sure.
So this is not, you're literally going to maybe take me apart. And there's a guy on Instagram, we got to close this club down. Okay.
People just
don't worry about the social media people. But so the stage is empty as all this is going down in the alleyway.
Right. Now, I go back in. Because they drove away. There's nothing I could do.
That's it.
And I said to Mark, get ready. I'll do the show. We have a host there, a house host, Sam Hunter, who...
Was he on stage at this point?
No. Sam Hunter
So the stage is empty?
Stage is empty. Okay? And I'm going to say something about this guy. Sam Hunter is 2-year comic. And I'll tell you something. This guy's a rock star, in my opinion, because here's what happens. I go back up on stage, and I say to people, I was super respectful about Pete. I say, listen, guys, I have a terrible announcement to make. Pete got offended. There was a miscommunication. He left.
And we don't know how... What was the first comic's name?
Derek Gaines.
We don't know how Derek got off stage.
Or how he realized that
we don't know
Ricky
how
wasn't
he wrapped
coming
that
on.
up.
Yeah.
I still don't know that answer.
Okay.
I don't know that answer. And so what happens is I went up on stage and I said, listen, if you stay, we're obviously going to refund all your money and I will do a show for you and I'll be very, very funny. Give me 2 minutes. I'm going to put an opening act here. Sam Hunter, who is sat the room and is literally operating this night as a door person. I looked up from stage and said, Sam, you're doing a set. Get ready. And we brought him up 30 seconds later to a pissed off crowd and he killed. And if Sam Hunter, if you're listening, I fucking love you and I hope you become a big star. And I'm going to try and help that happen.
Yeah, but you used to say that about Pete Davidson.
That is true.
Happened.
Now look what happened.
Yeah.
Pete's already a big star.
I'm going to make Sam Hunter a big star. Acting lessons, dancing lessons.
So he deserves it.
As you're on stage, as Sam and you are going on stage, this is what Pete is saying on his Instagram video.
Hey guys in Connecticut, I'm sorry that we had to leave the show before I got to go on. The owner, Vinnie Brand, disrespected me and did something that I told him not to do. and I can't, perform under those circumstances. However, everybody who got tickets to that show, I am doing a free show for you guys. We'll figure out where it's going to be in the next week, and we'll get it all sorted out. Sorry again. This is not your fault. Later.
So that's what sticks in your craw. He specifically says
that you
Vinnie Brand.
He did. And listen, again, there's no evidence of anything. There was no joke. That's first of all. It's just not true. I didn't do a joke about it. And so then what happened after that is I was on stage and I'm just doing my set. And listen, it's a hard set to do. I've had to do this a couple of times when things have gone wrong.
You have, right?
And yeah.
Did you work the night? Because your daughter called me the night Geraldo died because he was a Stress Factory.
Yeah.
Did you do the set that night too? Was
Yeah,
that you? That was you. Okay.
I had to. And
Was it something you said that killed Geraldo?
Yes.
Was that what happened?
Yes. He said, I'd like to book you again. And Greg's like, I can't do it.
That's awful. No, but that happened.
Right.
And that was another emotionally charged night.
The audience didn't know at that point, but they just knew something was wrong.
Yeah. I was in the back eating a salad, and they said, hey, you got to go to the hotel. They can't wake Geraldo up. I ran back to the club. Melvin George was on stage, and I had to go up and headline that show, which was a really difficult show because in my head, Greg and I were friends. I mean,
did you know he was dead at that point, or did you not? You just knew something was very bad.
The guy at the hotel said, listen, he ain't coming tonight, and he ain't coming tomorrow. And so I knew it was bad. Then I had to go up and do the show, and I killed. Anyway, the thing is, so now on this show, when I'm doing in for Pete's show, I'm just doing my stuff, and I'm trying to move through it and have a good set. And someone goes, hey, man, he's on Instagram trashing you live.
I saw that clip.
Someone heckled. They should have been removed.
Huh?
Oh, sorry.
Well, by then, everybody had realized it was a free for all because that clip exists. Somebody taped that.
And I said, play it.
Right.
Which I wish I didn't do because it pissed me off. And then I addressed it and I said on stage, hey, Pete, because when Pete was going through his trouble last year, the last number I have for Pete is probably not his number. But I texted him a year ago, hey, Pete, if you need someone just to talk to.
What number did he give you? It was 411. Vinnie, you can get me there. Text that number.
No, Pete used to come in the club when he wasn't known. He would hang out with his mother. His mother and I talked for hours. Pete used to jokingly call me, hey, Dad, and it was a relationship.
So you're saying you were like a father to Pete Davidson?
Listen, I don't think I was but Pete would say that, and his mother would talk to me, and he would tease his mother and go, Mom, leave him alone, he's married. And he would make a joke about it. But when I tell you I talked to Pete's mom.
So not only were you like a father to Pete Davidson, he wanted you to have sex with his mom.
Oh, geez, Sam, don't go there.
I'm just trying to make sure that it's all on the table.
Vinnie was trying to angle it.
Yeah, he was.
Vinnie was trying to angle it.
He was.
Hey, I'll put the kid on.
Yeah, found this wonderful grieving woman. Like, yeah, come here. Let me help you out with this.
I respect Pete and his mother. None of that is true.
I bet you do.
So, anyway, that's when I went on stage and said, hey, Pete, that's not true. I didn't do that. And I would never do that. And I'll say, and listen, Pete's looking for somewhere to do the show in Connecticut. Listen, we had a problem with Margaret Cho a couple years ago.
That's right.
And she came back.
Oh, that's right. That was a Stress Factory.
Yep. She came back, and we put it all to bed. And it was great.
But did Seinfeld go on?
Yes, Seinfeld
He
went
did.
on. Yeah, he killed. And the thing is, I would do the same thing with Pete. Because
you want Seinfeld at your club. I don't blame you.
Yeah,
That's a smart
No.
move. Would you let Jerry?
No. Listen, I still like Pete.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he thought like, all right, Vinny knows not to do this. You have a conversation with a security guy that he doesn't know.
Right.
And then you go on and do that. And he's in the back going, what the fuck? Why is he doing this?
Yes.
And the security guard is not coming in and going, no, I told him, look, make sure you mention this. So as far as he knows, you just did that. Like, why the fuck would you do it? Yeah.
Right.
And listen, it's just not something. It isn't. Why? I mean, look, of all the things, especially in a brand new club where it's a Monday night, I'm thrilled. We're sold out. All I wanted was to make it easy. I had just done 7 nights of work in a row. Mm-hmm. Going in on that Monday night at 9:45 show, I'm driving 2 hours to get there, doing the show 2 hours home. I didn't want anything to go wrong.
How were you feeling on that drive home? 2 hours drive home after all this had happened. Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling sad, upset, frustrated? How are you feeling?
Listen, it's going to sound like I'm a bit of a sissy,
like you lost your son?
It was saddening.
Yeah.
Because I know the impact. And I know that when he does, he's at 2.4 million followers. I've got 5,200.
That's good.
Okay, yeah.
That's pretty good.
You know, but who do you think
seems high.
That seemed a little high.
Yeah.
5,200 was a shock.
Yeah. Paying for bots.
To be fair, 5,000 a family. But you know, I mean, look, I'm not trying to sound like I'm being bullied, but God Almighty, how do I even respond to that?
It's not bully, but you know, like he's taking a beating. Like, you know, he's fucking dating Ariana Grande. Pete, yeah. And then they break up and he gets murdered online. Like he's fucking, so he's probably just sensitive to it. And then he thinks like, oh my God, now my friend is fucking with me.
Yeah. And, you know, and Pete entered into this world where everything that he does now is news. As you know, everything that Pete does is headline news. He became this giant celebrity because of, you know, the people that he was dating. And I guess he's become very, very protective about how that stuff gets out there,
because people are such cunts about it. Like, people weren't just reporting on it. He was getting brutalized by her fans, and then people were just smashing him, and he's probably just...
the Grondettes?
Okay, so think...
Is that what they're called?
I would say so.
That's good.
So think about what you just said. People are just such jackasses, right?
Sure.
So isn't that why the announcement's important? Isn't that why to say to someone...
No,
I
would never say specifically. I would say no heckling. But when you tell people, now don't yell Blue Devil.
But I didn't say it like that.
And I'm not saying yes, but I mean just the idea of telling them immediately puts it in their heads, like you said, they're drunks.
There is a temptation.
Yeah, but I think if you say it's a zero tolerance policy, any heckling, and you're out, people kind of know any heckling.
Kinda.
But, you know, either way, then you just throw them out.
But again, he's at a celebrity level, and... kind of know, listen, if I had to do it over again, obviously I wouldn't say it.
Right.
And if the guy didn't tell me right before I walked on stage, I wouldn't have said it.
Look, hindsight is the key.
It's a pretty direct thing. Yes, perfect. Say that exactly.
I believe you.
Pretty you know.
I just think it was a mistake by the security guy to want, because you never want to say specifically, but don't yell this, because
the security guy
want to yell it. No, he probably didn't realize.
Right, the security guy, that's not his.
He's probably just thinking this is the right thing to do. This way, to be no hassles. They won't bug Pete. I won't have to throw anybody out with the owner.
He's not a master of human psychology.
Because it's always, whenever you're going through other people, there's always a miscommunication, whether it's a publicist, security guy, because everyone thinks they have everyone else's fucking interests. Oh, I know what the person wants. And meanwhile, Pete probably would have said, no, don't say that. Because I've had guys say to me, well, like, do you want this set? No.
Let me tell you a great example of this. And it happened at the club in New Brunswick, and it was a major issue. We had a guy in the back, and he used his security guy to order food. Okay, security guy just goes to a waitress and orders food. We're in the middle of a rush. It's a sold-out show. So, you know, that's
which one of my shows?
Okay, so then next thing you know, I hear Mr. Norton's hamburger is late.
Excuse me.
That's a true story.
I was joking. That's true.
Oh, good. Kenny comes up to me and goes, Mr. Norton's food is not. And I'm like, well, who'd you order it with? He goes, some waitress. I go, well, did you tell the waitress it was from Mr. Norton? He goes, I didn't think that was necessary. I thought it was understood. I'm like, well, Kenny, it wasn't understood.
I was joking. I didn't think that was what I mean.
I love Kenny.
Kidding. I do too. But yeah, that can happen where one person thinks you want this, but you actually want that. And like if Pete said to you, hey, look, man, don't mention that, and then you did it, then I'd say, all right, he has a legit fucking reason to be pissed off.
But the middleman also, you know, whether it's the security guard, a publicist, whoever it is that's doing the talking for you, so often they want to have the conversation without the celebrity that they're representing actually having said anything, because they want it to go right and go, oh, you didn't even have to say anything. I took care of it.
You're hitting it now. I'm telling you, during the day, the chief security guy and I had a conversation, and it was great. If that guy was there that night, I assure you he would have said, no, don't do that.
He would have known.
This is the second in command, or whatever the hell you want to call him. And listen, he's a nice guy. He shouldn't lose his job either. This stuff happens. If I had made a joke, you can't find an Ariana Grande joke. I don't know her. I wouldn't do that joke because I respect artists in general. I don't do it.
You wouldn't do it right before you brought the guy on.
Doesn't make sense.
I don't do it, period.
Want more Jim and Sam? Catch up with full episodes and interviews from celebrity guests anytime on demand using the SiriusXM app.